The Young Man's Manifesto, Chapter 7, Finances, Making and Managing Money. If you want to succeed in this world, you'll need some money to be able to do it. In many people's lives, money becomes an obsession that consumes their thoughts and emotional energy. Although important, money is just a tool. But like a hammer or skill saw, it can be a dangerous tool if used incorrectly. In this chapter, we'll look at how to distinguish needs from wants, how to avoid financial traps, and how to manage your money in a way that will benefit you long term. First of all, we need to acknowledge that the financial landscape has shifted quite dramatically over the last 50 years. Due to an extreme amount of money printing and a lot of corporate shenanigans, wealth transfer is eating away at the ability of normal people to get ahead. There are many reasons for this, but that doesn't change the fact that we need to figure out a way to make enough money to take care of ourselves. Complaining about how much harder it's become won't help. It is what it is, and we have to learn how to make things work in the circumstances that we live in, not in the fantasy of times past or how we wish things would be. You don't need that much to survive. Basic survival is air, specifically a 78-21 mix of nitrogen, oxygen, plus 1% other stuff, shelter, anything that keeps you from being hypothermic or hyperthermic, water, sleep, and food, in that order. It's the general rule that you can live 3 minutes without air, 30 minutes in extreme hot or cold, 3 days without water, 9 days without sleep, and 30 days without food. The numbers here will vary slightly due to differences in physiology, but that's the gist of human survival. Most people have forgotten these numbers in favor of thinking that we will die if we miss a single meal. So what does this have to do with money? It helps us understand what a necessity is so we don't waste resources. You need to know exactly what's coming in and exactly what's going out of your account. The goal is to increase incoming capital and decrease outgoing expenses. That's it. That's budgeting in a nutshell. If you're a single person or a person with a young family, you may need to make some serious changes in your life in order to succeed. Unless you're a Nepo baby or a trust fund kid, sacrifice is mandatory on the path to financial freedom. You need to learn to cut costs while still taking care of yourself and not being homeless. When my daughter was born, I thought I was pretty fiscally savvy. I had $10,000 saved up for a down payment on a place. As soon as she was born, that money started disappearing quickly. Diapers, wipes, strollers, car seats, and baby clothes, all on top of the fact that my wife wasn't working anymore. All these things started to chip away at what we had saved up. In no time flat, there was nothing left. I had to start cutting costs. Eating out was no longer an option. Paying monthly subscriptions for streaming was now a luxury item. I was looking to cut costs in any way I could. We got cheaper phone plans, insurance, and changed to a bank with no fees. We moved from our nice apartment into a basement suite to save on rent. I traded in my SUV for a tiny 4-cylinder Honda Fit. Things were so tight that I couldn't even afford a McDonald's coffee. I had to swallow my pride and eat a lot more rice. Pennies make dollars, and dollars pay rent. Recognizing what I really needed versus what I wanted was essential to being able to provide for myself and my family. This initial learning curve was steep, but my selfishness would have ruined things before they really even started if I had chosen not to learn this difference. It'll look different for everyone. It may be moving into an apartment with cheaper rent, or buying a beater car that's cheaper on gas, or getting groceries in bulk and meal prepping. There are smaller steps too, like finding a cheaper phone plan and getting things secondhand. It all takes work and conscious effort, but knowing where your money is going will allow you to create strategies for achieving long-term financial success. You need a lot less than you think you do. That doesn't mean you can't have nice things. You just need to count the cost of those things you want more carefully. Cost isn't just about money, it's also time, and that's the one resource you'll never get back. Your mindset has to shift from short-term pleasure to long-term stability. You might make more money working 21 and 4 out on the pipeline, but what does that mean for your relationships with your children, your spouse, and your own mental well-being? Maybe it's something you need to do for a season to get out of debt, or get a down payment on a house, but it's a big trade-off. When you're making decisions, realize that there's a cost or trade-off to every decision. You can calculate your total cost more effectively by framing it through these questions. Is it a need or a want? Does it benefit me and my family in the long run? Is it sustainable if it's a recurring cost? This new mental framework will allow you to create the stability necessary to achieve long-term goals. Now let's talk about making money. This may be disappointing to hear, but I'm not really a believer in the whole follow your passion and the money will follow thing. Your passion might be farming gerbils, and while that sounds very fun, it's an incredibly difficult thing to sustainably monetize. You need a reliable way to make income as a base from which to launch yourself into what you would like to do. It's a lot simpler to make money than you think. Please note that although simple, it's not easy. There are 3 parts to this. 1. Have a rare skill that you can actually do well within your own limitations, 1% of the population or less, that is useful to more than 10% of people all the time. 2. Find a way to serve others with this skill. 3. Be consistent and keep up to date with emerging technologies to stay relevant in your chosen field. It should be noted that having a rare skill isn't as hard as it may sound. Rare doesn't have to be 1 in a million. It could just be 1 in 100. For example, plumbers are only 0.23% of the population of America. That means that only 1 out of 434 people are plumbers. That leaves 433 people who will either watch a lot of tutorials to fix their sink or need to call a plumber. I don't think everyone should be a plumber, but you get the idea. Avoid debt at all costs, especially in the early stages of your life. The Western world makes it easy to borrow money you don't have, but you need to realize that it's not free money. You'll always pay extra in the form of interest. That $30,000 car will cost you another $7,000 in interest on a 5-year, 9% term. That's an additional 23% that you can't see, but the lenders can see it, and they're hoping that you're stupid enough to fall for the trap. Unless you're buying a non-depreciating asset, something that keeps its value over time and has long-term utility, such as a house, land, education that leads to income, gold bullion, etc., you're losing wealth. I've met very few people who are able to leverage debt correctly and come out on top. Unless you want to have a deep understanding of financial markets through investing and are willing to put in the work and assume the risk, debt will not be valuable to you. It can be scary to take an honest look at our finances and habits. Some people avoid it altogether because it feels so overwhelming. But taking an honest look at our financial position and making the necessary sacrifices will always be a prerequisite for success. Don't let carelessness and selfishness destroy your financial life before you even get started. To clarify, I'm not a financial advisor. With that aside, if you're in a ton of debt, seek the professional advice of a certified financial advisor. They can help you explore options such as consolidation or bankruptcy, and bring back agency to your finances. It's better to suffer now for a little while than end up paying for mistakes for the rest of your life.